What is up, everybody? You are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, the Hot Commodity Ant C, and you are checking out our Something to Wrestle With series recap. And today we are covering episode 2, The Mega Powers. I'm excited to cover all things in this episode, so let's jump right in. Bruce and Conrad start talking about WrestleMania 4, where Randy Savage defeats Ted DiBiase for the WWE title. Savage as a new WWE champion. Hulk Hogan was almost like passing the torch. In 1988, it was a new era. WrestleMania 4 was building to WrestleMania 5. They knew that by WrestleMania 4 it was going to be Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage come WrestleMania 5 in 1989. Butchery was going to be Intercontinental Champion, but he didn't show up to a TV taping, so the move was made for Honky Tonk Man to become the Intercontinental Champion. Ricky Steamboat dropped the Intercontinental title because he wanted to go back to NWA. Ricky was unhappy, and Vince allowed Ricky Steamboat to go back to NWA or WCW. After Steamboat left, they decided to give the title to Honky Tonk Man. Everyone in the arena thought they could beat Honky Tonk Man, but he was able to make wrestlers a babyface. Main event was a Friday night show on primetime. Was and primetime was on NBC. Saturday night main event was late night and placed to Saturday nights live. Uh, Ted DiBiase is one of the best wrestlers with no WWE title win. DiBiase as champion was discussed. The end of WrestleMania 4 had Hulk Hogan celebrating with Macho Man Randy Savage at the end of the show. Macho Man loved money he got as a babyface from all the merchandise sales. By SummerSlam, Ted DiBiase, Andre the Giant were taking on the Mega Powers, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant. I'm sorry, Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth. They told the story through both eyes. In 1988, Hulk Hogan looks at Elizabeth. Randy turns. Hulk's pretty much believes that Hulk had lust in his eyes for Miss Elizabeth. Randy believes that Hulk Hogan's into Elizabeth. At SummerSlam, Elizabeth takes off her skirt to reveal her panties. Hulk Hogan is then looking at Miss Elizabeth. They discussed Jesse the Body Ventura, who was a great talent. He was the first guy who had an agent, and it was hard to deal with. Jesse Ventura sued WWE for royalties because the Coliseum video cassette, the videotapes, the wrestlers would get royalties for competing on there. Jesse's voice would appear on Coliseum home videotapes, and there was a conflict, and he did not get paid because he wasn't considered wrestling. His voice was being used. He ended up suing, and he won. The Coliseum video was outside of WWE. It was a different company. The people who owned it also made adult entertainment videos. So, fun fact for that. Jesse got over $800,000. That's a good thing for him. By Survivor Series 1988, Randy Savage lifts up Miss Elizabeth, and Hulk Hogan places his hand on Elizabeth's butt. That made Hulk look lustful and inappropriate to Randy Savage. They talk about Coco Beware, who was a great wrestler, but he was small. Red Rooster claims he got the short stick and it was supposed to be this character of either Mr. Perfect or the Red Rooster, and he picked the Red Rooster. But that's not true. Pat Patterson claimed that Kurt Hennig was perfect at everything, so call him Mr. Perfect. In 1989, the Royal Rumble, Hulk Hogan eliminates Randy Savage. Randy is pissed about this, but they hug it out. During a primetime wrestling episode, the Mega Powers take on the Twin Towers. Randy falls and accidentally falls on Miss Elizabeth. Hulk Hogan helps and carries Elizabeth to the back while Randy Savage is getting beat up by the Twin Towers. Uh, they were on air. Hulk is backstage and he asks about timing when they're coming back. Randy attacks Hulk Hogan and hits Hulk with the WWE title. Hulk claims he got a concussion from the hit, but Bruce doesn't know if that's really true. NBC was heavily involved in the main event show, and Bruce was running from Gorilla to the medic scene during that time. At WrestleMania 5, Donald Trump was professional and it was a great partner. At the time, WrestleMania 3 was number one, and WrestleMania 5 had to be the number two WrestleMania of that time. Randy Savage had a staph infection in his elbow for WrestleMania 5. He wrestled with that big thing on, the big little, not a cast, but shoulder pad. Randy Savage's story is that Hulk Hogan is looking at Elizabeth with lust. The revenue for WWE went down in 1990. A week before Randy leaves on Raw, Randy says he doesn't want to be in the seat anymore, and Vince says it's a real nice seat to be in. Randy wanted to do a lot of different things, and Randy made $500,000 before leaving WWE. Rumors of Randy Savage and Stephanie McMahon having sex while Stephanie was underage uh, is running rampant in WWE. They claim that's why he's whitewashed from WWE content. Bruce doesn't believe that, and he just wants to look at Macho Man as the guy he was. The Mega Powers was a great team for the 80s. You had two huge main eventers, Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, teaming up to defeat the bad guys. However, when Randy looks at Hulk Hogan as the man who has love for his woman, things turn sour. It was great to hear some behind the scenes stories from Bruce Prichard and Conrad Thompson. Next week, our next episode is going to be about the Lex Express. I'm excited to cover that. It's all about Lex Luger and his journey on a bus in 1993. So get ready for that. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you vote in our poll that will be up. Make sure you subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to stay notified on YouTube when new content is created. Also, check out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and wherever you get your podcast streaming. Thank you guys. Stay safe and stay uncensored.